Hello everybody and welcome back to the JCal Arts channel, and if you're new here, if you don't mind sticking around to the very end, but we're doing another installment of the Let's Draw series, and the Let's Draw series is basically me drawing a picture via speed paint and then talking about the picture and subjects and topics related to it. But in today's Let's Draw, I'll just be drawing a little personal comic of mine, and what inspired me to draw a comic is just the good old nostalgia, because I'm pretty sure many digital artists can remember back in the weeaboo phase of high school. I don't know if other kids did this, but I personally would take a whole notebook, like a whole blue lined notebook, and then draw, I guess, a manga out of that blue lined notebook. And then I would share it with my friends, and people really were impressed with my drawing abilities. And so in an attempt to relive those nostalgia days as an adult, I am basically going to use Clip Studio Paint in creating a comic idea. And so that's what today's Let's Draw is going to be about. So I'll describe the premise of this little comic here. So I have my main original character. His name is Olimar, and he's basically spying on his antagonist, the Moon Emperor, who's basically like the Shredder and Mr. Limburger put together. And for those who know about TMNT and Bäckermeister Mars, you kind of get where I'm going here. But he's basically spying on them to get some information about a plan that the Moon Emperor is trying to enforce. And he gets the scoop and gets the information he's looking for and is trying to leave, but then he ends up bumping into effectively my fan art version of the TMNT, I guess the anime TMNT. And so if you want more information about, the Ninja Kappa brothers, Olimar, and the Moon Emperor, you can watch these past Let's Draws to get more information about them there. But that basically sums up what's going on here in the comic, and I know it's pretty early in the recording, but you'll start to see the pieces come together later. So the last time I did a proper comic was in pen and paper, and so this is kind of like a new experience in a sense for me, drawing a proper paneled comic with digital art. And I'm pretty sure if you go on my Instagram account at JCal Arts, go follow. But I'm pretty sure if you go over there, you can find instances of me drawing multiple characters and them having speech bubbles above their head and everything. But I'm talking about a full, proper comic. That is something I haven't done with digital art yet. So it's been quite an experience trying to get used to a different medium making comics. And I'll just say, for people who use Clip Studio Paint, I did not use the comic border settings. And I'm going to get a little personal here. It's because when you make a comic border, like a proper comic border with Clip Studio Paint, it basically creates a new folder. And then in that folder, there's like a layer for the actual comic border, the white space inside of it. And it kind of colors up like the layer queue. And I don't know, it just makes me anxious when there's like a lot of layers and folders to have to keep up in the layer queue. And so I prefer just using the rectangle border tool that's not like part of the comic set, because that just eases my anxiety with that a lot better. But yeah, I guess I wanted to make my comic look a little dynamic, and so you can kind of see towards like the top left corner, I have a circular comic panel, and it's supposed to act like an hourglass, because in the very top left first comic panel, I basically have the Moon Tower, which is the Moon Emperor's building, and Olimar is spying on a meeting on one of the rooftops of that building. And so you'll be seeing me draw the Moon Tower, and then there's like a little black speck that's supposed to be Olimar, and then that circular comic panel is then kind of like an hourglass to enlarge and actually get to see Olimar himself in full glory. And I wanted to make this comic, like I said, a bit dynamic as well. So he's jumping off the Moon Tower roof building to another building, and this is all happening at nighttime, so no one knows that he's doing any of this. But I just wanted to make it, like, I guess, kind of exciting to read. That's why, I put that circular border there. And I also have like a panel on the right side of that circular border just being Olimar in midair, mid-jump, and then he's finally landing on the building that he's trying to jump towards using wind boost jumps. I'm going to call them that for this Let's Draw. But yeah, there's that top portion of the comic there. And I'm pretty much made it pretty normal and typical when it comes to the bottom half of my comic here, where it's just Olimar landing on the building, him noticing that there's someone behind him, and then you get my lovely ninja Kappa brothers just surprised that there are other people out and about around the time of night they're in, just jumping around rooftop buildings like they're Sonic. So I'm glad I did this little comic because it gave me practice on drawing landscapes, particularly city landscapes. And I was able to draw buildings from different angles, and so it was pretty good practice, and I think I did a decent job. You can tell me how you feel about my buildings in the comment section. But the Moon Tower was the building I've had the most fun with, and it's because I have the best story for it. So the Moon Emperor is kind of inspired by the Moonese cult in South Korea, and I also inspired the Moon Tower, the Moon Emperor's building, off of a building the Moonese cult owned in New York called the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel. And so I took like the shape of the New Yorker Hotel, which seems to be like, rectangular buildings that get smaller as you go higher up the building. And I added East Asian elements to it. And I guess in a sense, kind of structure it to be somewhat similar to the Shredder Tower in the TMNT 2003 series as well. So yeah, the Moonese cult kind of inspired the antagonist for my little comic here. And I also backported Olimar and the Ninja Kappa's designs from these last Let's Draws. So again, watch them to learn more about those characters. But besides drawing arms and hands, this comic was actually pretty enjoyable to draw and gave me practice on a lot of things. So another first that was made with this comic is using a monochrome color scheme for the coloring. So monochrome is basically like white and black and various shades of gray, and those are the only colors you use to color a comic or even an art piece picture. And so I've never done that before, and so it's also good to get that practice in this drawing. But that'll be enough commentary for my comic for today, and I'd like to thank any of you who are here with me still. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be coming up with more videos. I also want to let it be known that JCal Arts is a general speed paint channel surrounded by geeky media I'm interested in, so I'll be doing little art trends in the geek sphere, and I'll have more videos about cartoons that I like as well. But I also want to put my own original content out there, especially as you can tell I'm inspired by, cartoons and anime that I like when it comes to my own original work. So yeah, I'll just keep making videos, and I'd like to thank all of you for sticking by. Now on to the finished picture.